Oh, hello YouTube. Welcome to another edition of Lori's Thrifty Kitchen Pantry. If you are new, welcome. I'm so happy to see you today. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm happy to see you again. So excuse me, I have a bad case of the hiccups, so you'll just have to forgive that. So I promised you an update for today. Today was a really bad day. I was told I was going to be transferred to Tampa at some point today to start getting ready for my spine surgery. And Tampa called this morning to say once again that they had given my bed to someone else, and they have no idea when another bed's going to be opened up. My insurance paperwork only goes to 4 days at a time for hospital transfers. Today was the expiration date for my transport papers, so now we have to start the whole process all over again. So I apologize for starting to cry on the last video, but I'm sure you can understand how frustrating this process is. I don't know what's going on. Actually, I take that back. I think I do know what's going on, but I'm not sure, so I don't want to say anything just yet. I don't want to accuse someone of something that's not true. So I'm just at the end of my rope, so that means I'm still sitting here in the hospital and have no clue when I can go home. The doctor said I can't go home until my back is fixed. I'm not sure how long I can stay here. So that's where I'm at. So for those who are new, this problem has been going on since January. I went home from work one night, I went to bed and woke up and couldn't move my leg. I went to one hospital, was given 2 bags of calcium because I am hypocalcemic. My calcium drops at the bottom of a hat, and when it gets too low, I do have seizures and break bones. So I think what happened in January was I didn't know my calcium was extremely low. It was down to 5.8. And I went to bed and woke up and suddenly was very delirious. I evidently said things that I'd had no clue I had ever said, or have any recollection of saying things that I would never have said. I said, and that's one clue that I had a seizure. And then by suddenly not moving my leg, I figured I had broken a bone in my leg. So the hospital I first went to started running bags of calcium. They ran 2 bags and decided that since my leg was still hurting, I needed rehab. They never even checked to see if my calcium level was normal. They did not run any tests for blood clots. They should have run, as bad as I was, they should have run a stroke kit. They did not run a stroke kit. They just shipped me off to the worst rehab in the planet. I almost died in this rehab. The only thing that saved me was calling 911 and coming to the hospital that I'm now in. It took them 10 days to get my calcium normal enough to where they could comfortably send me home. So when I got here, my calcium had dropped even lower from 5.8 to 4.8, so I was really on the path of dying. So I went home. I started working with physical therapy. I actually was doing really good for the first few weeks. I got to where I could get my shower relatively easy. I was starting to work on going up and down the steps. Well, my therapy office had to discontinue my visits because the home health company my insurance uses did not send the paperwork to the office extending my visit, so all they could do was discharge me. Within 3 days of no physical therapy, my leg had gotten to where I could not move it again. I tried to walk. I couldn't, only walk maybe 3 steps. Last Saturday, it took me all day to try to get in the kitchen to fix some peanut butter toast and then make it back to my chair. I couldn't even clean up what I had eaten. It was terrible. So finally, on last Thursday, I went to Point Siena Medical Center, which is just outside of Orlando. And all that doctors did was said he would send me pain medicine and send me home. I begged him to run x-rays. He said no. I begged him to double check my calcium. He said no. I begged him to do an MRI. He said no. So he gave me the painkillers. By the time it took 6 hours for transport to pick me up to take me back home. By then the pain medicine had worn off. I was in no better shape than when I had gotten there. In fact, I was in worse shape. So they had given me nothing to eat or drink or anything while I was waiting on the transport to get there. I even had to yell and scream and beg for help because they didn't give me a call light button to push for help. So, yeah, I didn't like them at all. So I got home on Thursday. I just really went into rapid decline. By Saturday night, I could only move 3 steps and then try to make it back to my recliner to sit down. So call 911 again. The ambulance tech told me that all the doctor was going to do was give me pain pills and send me home like the other ER doctor did. And that's exactly what happened. I broke down and just sat and cried and begged the ER doctor not to send me home. He said there was nothing he could do. They finally called the hospitalist doctor in, and he called the hospital doctor in. The ambulance tech talked to the hospital doctor, told him all the things that I had relayed to him. So the hospital doctor said he was calling me in, or that he was admitting me and going to start checking things. So the first thing he asked was, had anyone ever x-rayed your spine and lower back? He said there is a nerve in that area that runs down your leg, and your pain could actually be coming from there and not from your leg. I said, of course, no, nobody had not bothered to double check that spot. So he did a CAT scan. He admitted me, and the CAT scan did show some collapsed spaces and some open spaces and possibly a couple breaks in my spine. So the doctor immediately ordered a full body MRI scan, which we did. That was utter torture. I don't know if I would ever do one of those again. It was absolutely awful. But I got through that. The doctor came up the next morning and informed me that not only was my spine collapsing, but I had been misdiagnosed when I was born. My mom and dad had been told that I had a non-malignant tumor on the bottom of my spine that needed taken off, that there was nothing to it. They'd take it off and I'd be fine. Well, what the doctors missed to see was that I was born with spina bifida, which I just found out this week, so my mind's still reeling from that a bit. So it became much more complicated. They called several hospitals to see if someone could get me in right away to do surgery. All beds were full, so they called Tampa General. Tampa General said they would take me, but all beds were full. I had to wait for a bed. 4 different times they told me they had a bed, and then I would wait, and the next morning the doctor would come back in and say they gave my bed to someone else. So that's what happened again this morning. I was supposed to be transported today. The doctor came in and said that my bed had been given away after they had informed the nurse that they would hold my bed until they got a COVID test set in, which is procedure now. Anytime you're transferred anywhere, you have to get a COVID test. So we did the COVID test right away, sent them the results, and then they said the bed had been given away because they never got the COVID results. And not only that, the transportation authorization from my insurance was only good until August 4th. Today is August 4th, so now my transportation papers are no longer valid and we have to start the whole process over again. I'm sorry for my last video short. I've been so frustrated, so angry, so depressed and hopeless all day long, so I don't know what to do, where to go from here. The doctor says I have to just lay here till a bed opens up, and it's already been 9 days. Tomorrow will be another 10 days. So that means from February until now, I will have been 20 days in the hospital. So I just am beyond knowing what to do. I knew I told you guys that I would update you on where I was at. This is where I'm at, so please pray for me. Please keep the prayers coming. Right now, your prayers are the only thing that's keeping me going. So I just really appreciate your prayers. You have no idea what that means to me, so thank you for that. Thank you for the prayers that I know are coming. And hopefully this nightmare will end soon. I'm very scared of this surgery. I know that it's been risky. I've been turned down by St. Joe Hospital in Tampa and by Orlando Regional in Orlando, so I don't know where to go from here. I really don't. But I'm gonna try to sleep tonight. I just got my sleeping pill, and I got the morphine. I should be getting my oxycodone shortly. They've been medicating me around the clock every 2 hours with morphine and oxycodone, so I know that's not good for me either. But like I said, I just don't know what to do. And I know I've been scratching a lot. The air in here is just so dry. My skin's so itchy. So yeah, just pray for me. I'm going to end it here because that's all I know. Hopefully tomorrow will be good news. But at this point, I'm running out of hope. So just, yeah, pray for me. I'm going to say be safe, be happy, be blessed, and I will see you all on the next video. Bye.